Abram for leaving his country. Not only does God increase his wealth over the course of time, but God makes his descendants as numerous as the stars of the sky. At one point even, God will tell Abram, go outside and look up to the sky and count them if you can. He says, because I'm going to make your descendants as numerous as the stars of the sky or the sand of the sea. I'll make you a great nation, God says. God will, how do I say this? God makes his descendants, Abraham, as the stars of the sky. All we have to do is consider Abraham's descendants today. I'll look to the nation of Israel, the Jewish folks. They're descendants of Abraham. Some, how many thousands of years later? They're still there. Still there. Then God says, notice what God says. I will bless you. He said, I will make you a great nation. I will bless you. I will bless you, God says. This is compensation for any earthly joy that he might have received. The difference here being in earthly joy as opposed to heavenly joy. Church, understand, that which the world offers isn't always joyful. What's the old saying? All that glitters is not gold. You understand? Well, Paul says, the Apostle Paul said, Philippians 4:7, the peace of God which passes all understanding guards our hearts and our minds through Christ Jesus. Oh, there's a difference. The difference here in earthly joy as opposed to heavenly joy. We want to pray for the heavenly joy, that peace which God gives. That peace which God gives. And God says, I will make your name great. Notice these things. These are blessings that God promises to Abraham. That's what we've been looking at here. Blessings. God says, I will make your name great. Everyone longs for their name to be great, do they not? Everyone longs to be famous, to have their name great, to be known. This is compensation for leaving his family, his kindred. God writes his name down, and his name is written down. Oh, isn't it written down? 2 places here. Do you see? Remember, see what God say there in Hebrews? Have the testimony in Hebrews some, 3,000 years later? Oh, God makes his name great. It's written down in heaven. Written down in heaven, among other places. Consider that Abram's name is carried by millions and revered even to this day. Revered even to this day. And lastly, God tells him, you shall be a blessing, he says. You shall be a blessing. There he says there at the end of verse 2. Lastly, compensation for putting aside opportunities of service, putting aside opportunities of where he had come from. You shall be blessed. You shall be blessed. We must also return to the faith of our fathers. Church, hear me what I say this morning. We must return to the faith of our fathers if we're to be blessed. Church, you hear what I'm saying? We must return to the faith of our fathers. That's the message as Americans as we go into is celebrating our national independence this week, keeping in mind that we too can be blessed. We must, in order to be blessed, we must return to the God of the faith of our fathers. God blessed Abraham because he followed God. Church, understand this right now. In our past history, God has blessed us because we have followed God. Oh, if we would again experience the blessing